The wheelhouse is designed after a Carolina fish boat. Gigantic oven. We always say we can cook a buffalo without skinning it in there.
Well, and this is my full-size washing machine.
What?
Take notes, baby, take notes. He supplied a boatyard with a machine shop out of this boat.
And everything is round and soft, like women should be. If we're full, we weigh 74 tons.
They're pretty much set. Look at this thing.
This is Joel. Together with Tony and Jared, he gave up everything to buy a boat and go on the adventure of a lifetime. But after a death-defying sail to Cuba, he returned to Key West and found himself
Wish
alone.
me luck on this adventure. When Michael finished school, I asked her to sail with me to the Bahamas. 4 months later, we made it to the Dominican Republic. Broke and in love.
Bums on a Boat is a true story about facing fear, finding adventure, and falling in love. Each tale is brought to you by our patrons and viewers. Subscribe and click the bell to get notified about weekly premieres and visit our website to learn more. Thank you for watching.
These are the tales of BOAB.
Alright, this is the first for all of us. You and Michael and I. We've actually never been on Ciganka. Oh.
This is going to be the nickel tour. I'm going to charge him a dime, but it's a nickel tour. We'll start off with the anchor that you saw when you first started. That's a 250-pound CQR, and we've got 2 of them. And behind each of the anchors, there's 1 ton of chain. There's 18, just shy of a ton, 1,800 pounds of chain on each one. 330 feet of chain. And this is a hydraulic winch. I start a generator up, and it's PTO driven off that, and it drives a hydraulic pump. And I can pick up 5,000 feet, 5,000 pounds at like 30 feet a minute. So we're gonna definitely pick up the anchors. So this is the only thing that we have that is like modern day. The rest of the boat is really very traditional. It's block and tackle. We've got 6-to-1 purchase on the main, 400 feet of line on the throat halyard. We've got like 450 feet of line on the peak halyard. So you got to pull, that's all the line that you got to pull to get the sail on. It takes 6 kids when we sail with the kids. There are 10 hatches, which is, you'll see it from inside. And this is the cargo hold.
Show the round hatches.
I'll show one up here. We have 2 seals. One is up here. It's what we call a fair weather seal. After you dog the hatch down, if we're going to sea, I pump up this inner tube and put 30 pounds on it, and we're like a submarine. We got 2 steering stations. The gear itself is 1 system, but I've got a wheel outside and a wheel inside. This is the outside compass. It's not installed at the moment, but it is high enough to where you can actually use it to look across the top of the compass for your bearings when you're coming across land. So it's important to have that rather than a hand bearing compass, because the hand bearing compass doesn't work well on a steel ship because of the magnetic pulls and whatnot. So that's why you need something that you can look all the way across, and it's a lot easier than the one that's on the inside. We have self-tailing winches, and the only reason I went with self-tailing winches is if we sail short-handed. Linda and I, we sail the boat at least 2 weeks a year, 3 weeks a year, totally by ourselves. So if one of us gets injured and we're down to 1 arm usage, we can actually still control the boat with 1 arm. And that's the reason we've got winches here and here. But normally everything can be done without winches, but we did that for safety. We normally sail with, when we're chartering, we have 20 Boy Scouts on the boat with leaders. Sometimes we do as many as 25. But what it is, with that many people on the boat, I carry all the snorkel gear for them and everything. and that lives in this locker, which is a full meter, a yard, and it goes all the way from ship side to ship side. We're gaff rigged, which is nice. That means that there's a lot of area of sail for the height of the mast, because it's four-sided mast. So, I mean, four-sided sails. I've been in races that I did not even know I was in, and when the people finally caught up to us, they could not believe that we were sailing as fast as we were. They said they couldn't understand it. They go, I thought gaff rigs were slow. They go, no. The bits go all the way down and actually become part of the ship. It's actually in the framing of the boat, so there's a lot of beef up there. It's not just welded to the deck. Not that the deck's not strong, but you've got to have, you know, something really secure. Everywhere that there's a hole that goes through normal metal is a piece of stainless steel pipe, so that it doesn't rust through. So that's really important on a steel boat. We keel cool our engine. We have 150 gallons of antifreeze. The radiator in your car, multiply that by 150 gallons. That's what and it radiates the heat to the side of the ship. We have the capacity to cool over 1,000 horsepower, but we only have like 150 horsepower with the generators running, max. So we're like 10 times overcooled. I mean, can be. Thermostats take care of that, but it's very, very efficient, and you don't have to worry about garbage bags floating in the water. When it gets rough and nasty, if you look at most harbors, you'll run into stuff. It'll get you stuck because you'll suck stuff that, you know, like plastic bag will get up inside your cooling water. Well, we don't have that problem. When we built the wheelhouse, we wanted to make sure it's like outside, because we like it outside, so we had to make all the windows opening. Okay, and the windows are, the wheelhouse is designed after a Carolina fish boat. They go out and they fish all day. It's a kind of combination between the fish boats of North Carolina and the eastern side dragger up in the north, which is like the sardine carriers. So, but what we did was we wanted to have...
But he designed these windows.
You wanted to have a window that opens, and you can tie it off at any one set that you have.
So
right now we got screens in them, and then you cleat it off at the height that you want.
So simple.
It's very simple. And then like the windows that you see, the hatches, we also have a little fitting that you can pump air into, and it seals the inner tube that's around it all the way around. Then with the wheelhouse, what we tried to do was, and remember we got a steering shaft that comes through here. I wanted to make sure that I could see very safely all the way around the boat with very little, you know, obstructions. A lot of power vessels, they put a lot of this all this stuff, electronics and stuff, they always stick way up in here, and it starts to block your view out. So I didn't want any of that. I want just completely clear. When Linda wanted to get the speakers up here, she said, oh, I want my speakers up here. And I go, I'm not going to put speakers up here. You can't do it. And then she says, we got to have music up here.
I love music.
So I said, okay, I'm going to stand at the wheel, and you put the speakers there. So they held the speakers, and I said, if you can put the speakers somewhere it doesn't block my vision, you can put them there. And that's exactly where they're at. I says, you're right, I don't see, doesn't block my vision. So we put the speakers there, and that's what happens with that. So, you remember the cow we had named Rosa?
Yeah.
We'll have to go outside and see this again. This window here come off a big ship, and it's a bronze. It's like heat treated metal. It's about this thick. Okay. The rest of them are the same window that you have in your car windshield. It can't break. It'll splinter, but it's laminated glass. So if you do lose a window, it won't be a whole bunch of pieces coming at you. But this is tempered glass, and this was a very dear friend of ours, and we named a cow after her. And I'll show you on the outside, we engraved her name over her signature, so we could say that Rosa sees the world through our eyes, we see through her. So we love that window, and that's the only solid window we have.
She was at an antique store somewhere, and we had not even had the pilot house built.
No.
And she said, I need that for Thomas and Linda's boat.
Right.
Bought that, and then we templated that.
It's the shape of all the rest of the windows.
And it was just like perfect.
Right.
And it was before the pilot house was even.
Right.
So that's what Rosa contributed.
That's a Rosa.
Yeah.
Then I was talking to you a little bit ago about the being able to see across the compass. This compass is inside, and you have, they call them different things, but we call them Admiral balls. And what they do is, they neutralize the magnetic field of Earth versus the ship is so long and so narrow, so it makes the world think that everything's in line, so that the north will always point in the line of the ship. So what we do by this is we cancel that, and it equalizes the steel, so it makes the boat as wide as it is long magnetically, so that it becomes neutral again. So now everything will point back where it belongs. The galley is a little bit different than a lot of galleys. We, when we were building it, I actually cut out everything in cardboard. I had it sketched, but we wanted it real world. And so we sketched this all out and then actually built a cardboard mock-up for everything.
Yeah.
So that's how we developed what we have. Linda's kind of proud of her
my
stove. Linda's got it's a 6-burner stove, gigantic oven. We always say we can cook a buffalo without skinning it in there. So, which is really nice, but when you've got 20 people on board, you'd be surprised. Every single griddle, there's 6 griddles going full blast for pancakes in the morning.
Yeah, and Thomas gimbaled it, so it
and
does
it's gimbaled.
gimbal.
It's in stops now, but it can stay level.
And I have pot holders that, like, excuse me, out at sea, you clip them on and it'll hold the pot
It'll
in
hold-
place,
right.
you know, so,
Yeah, it doesn't
I've
go
got
anywhere.
those.
And then things like, well, the sink, if you look down the sink, the drains are on this side, and I cut
On
the
the back
bottoms.
of the sink.
It's on the back of the sink, so all the plumbing is in the very back, and that allows you to use all the space underneath the counter. You don't have any plumbing in there at all. It's just all open to be used.
It's just a lot of simple thinking
So,
with that.
Yeah.
You know?
And then your water, your hot water.
And then hot water,
This
what
is
we've got
awesome.
is, hot water on a boat is, well, fresh water is real valuable. So we got hot water, but the hot water is like in the engine room. And then if you want hot water here, you just turn this bypass valve on. You can hear the pump turn on. And what that's doing, it's getting rid of that cold water slug that's here, and you count to like 15.
It's bringing it back to the water tank.
It throws it right back in the water tank, so that as soon as I turn this off, then I go to hot water, and I got hot water instantly. That way you don't have to worry, you're not wasting water. So that's kind of nice.
And it's on all our showers. It's on every
shower, every
my
faucet in the boat has
So
like that,
there's
though.
no waste.
Yeah.
You're not wasting that water waiting
Yeah.
for it to come. It all goes back into, and that was just a simple plumbing.
Yeah.
That was just.
And
I'm
then,
curious. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, is that your coffee grind?
That is
Yeah.
our
Every
coffee
morning?
grinder. Yeah. I mean, we don't ground
We
it.
get lazy with it
Yeah, we get
sometimes.
lazy because we get it here.
But
here
a
they grind it.
wall-mounted coffee grinder is just so awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
By the way,
That's so cool.
so
I love that.
yeah, that works out.
And
really
all
well.
my little odds and ends on
Yeah.
the wall. Just make it homey. And then storage space, you know,
Yeah.
in all these
Yep.
cupboards.
And we got some modern stuff. We got like a
Oh, Tom is modern. It's
Yeah,
a microwave.
It's a microwave. That's pretty
Yeah,
modern.
that's
I mean,
modern.
Where's the microwave?
It's a little microwave.
Yeah,
That's
microwave.
modern.
It's a little microwave.
Oh yeah, that's like
That's
1980s,
modern.
right?
Yeah, that's like
Look at
big
that
deal.
for me.
Yeah, that's like new, right? We were talking.
Then our refrigerator freezer, which is they're really big. We usually put 450 pounds of ice in that section.
When we're running charters,
When we're running.
so we buy 10-pound blocks of ice, 30 of them.
Yeah.
So
30,
that
35.
it keeps
Okay.
their
350.
water cooler that we have on deck cold, you know, for drinking water all during the week.
Right.
But then this is the actual refrigerator,
And most people talk about
which
insulation.
is it's 12 cubic feet.
It's 12 feet.
And you've got a little freezer.
I've got a
box
little
there,
freezer
too.
and actually everything around it. Oh, you know, boat refrigerators. It actually is organized. It doesn't look like it is.
No, I.
You know what I
believe
mean?
it.
Like I
Yeah.
got little containers
yeah.
that.
But it goes all the way down to the floor, that height, and then
And how much insulation?
there's
Insane.
29 inches of insulation on the bottom. And I think on the hull side, there's no less than 9 inches on the hull side.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So what I did, because I mean, it got to be ridiculous. It was like, you either fill it up with foam or you don't do it, so we just went
You
right
could
straight to the
reach
hull
it,
and come
yeah.
You
up.
could reach it.
Yeah, you could reach it. You had to put a step ladder to get down in it.
Some people do.
Some people do.
To dive down in
I
there.
have to hold his feet.
Yeah.
So, but we love our refrigerator freezer.
Yeah.
And a little bitty Adler Barber style refrigerator runs the whole works.
And then
And
your-
Linda made it to where she didn't like people in her galley. But if you want to help, you stay on that side of the counter.
I
And
like-
that
it's
way,
it's
you know,
really
you can
just
do,
one-
you can be
yeah.
cutting, and she'd be over here like that.
Yeah.
Then there's for garbage. There's a garbage bin on that side and one on this side.
Yeah.
It's the same
So
thing.
they don't even have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't come in my galley to throw your stuff away. Just this is kind of my barrier.
Totally. No, this like
Then
whole
this is we
section
we
is
got
That's
this.
right. It's
This
mine.
space.
It's
Yeah.
mine.
All the wood you see inside the boat, painted and unpainted, varnished or not varnished, was given to us standing in North Carolina in the forest. We cut the trees down, we cut them to length, and we literally cut them to pieces like this.
Dried
This
them
right here, if
for-
you look,
for years.
there's like
Oh my
they're
God.
matched here. It's 1, 2, 3. That's one board, and that's another board.
Yeah.
And it's all loblolly pine. And this particular closet was made just for like their special plates that Linda has, so that it lives there.
Isn't that awesome?
There's a special plate that lives there. So this is all.
All my stuff.
Lola
Yeah.
approves.
You like that, Lola? And then silverware. So if
Silverware.
somebody wants to help, yeah, you
Yeah,
can
go
get to
put
that.
the silverware up. And then this is a day pantry. We have literally a year's supply of food on the boat.
Is there
in
any dog food in
canned
there?
stuff. Nothing for you. So, but this is day pantry. Then we reload it up. Either every 2 or 3 days, I guess you put a little bit in when we got it, on charter.
Yeah,
But we call it the day pantry.
Do you approve, Lola?
yeah, she approves, but there's no dog treats.
No.
Yeah, no dog treats. If we'd have known.
Well, and this is my full-size washing machine.
What?
Underneath here. So I take all this stuff off the top, and then this board comes off, just the top.
So it's a top loader?
Yeah, it's a top loader.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry.
Oh my.
So.
And it's actually a water efficient one. So
Oh, it's so water efficient. I start the Watermaker when we do laundry.
yeah.
We'll be ahead
But full
of when they
size.
start. We'll be
Full
ahead of
size
water.
baby.
It makes water faster than that thing uses it. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Isn't that great?
Gosh.
See, I don't care for diamonds and stuff, but a washing machine.
Oh.
A washing
yeah.
machine and an oven.
Yes.
Washing machine,
I
oven,
love
and
my
hot water
oven.
heater.
Take notes, babe. Take notes.
So that means this was a tree here, huh?
This was a tree. This is
Yes.
Yep, this tree we actually had to cut down. It had to be cut down because it was in the middle of where we built the boat, the actual work site itself. The actual work site used to be a ditch, and that it was an old sawmill, and they used to bring logs up in there. And then what we did was we filled in the ditch with 7 dump truck loads of fill, and then made that ditch flat ground. And then once the flat ground was there, then we built the foundation of building the boat. But this guy was right in the middle of where the boat was, so we had to get it. And it's sycamore.
When we finally put the boat in the water and had to move it, the tree had to come down.
Yeah, and
So
what a
we used it.
beautiful tree this is.
Used it for the-
Sycamore's a nice wood.
But Thomas did all the woodwork.
Yeah, and it
And
still
actually,
needs some.
this can be, everything can be removed. This can be, it's
Oh yeah, it's
bolted,
bolted down.
but it can be removed. This can be removed. Obviously, the ladder. So if you need to really
Move stuff,
move
right.
stuff in and out, you
Like
can.
I can move the stove, I can move the refrigerator, I can move everything out through the hatch here.
Yeah.
Put it up on the thing.
And
Then we move into the cargo hold. Cargo hold, bunk room. Now there's a lot of stuff out because we're in different projects. Like I got my tools
It's
out.
all Thomas's junk.
Yeah, it's all my stuff. Yeah, Linda has closets that she's got everything in. I had a full machine shop in here. I had a 24-inch mill machine there, and I had a 40-inch lathe that sat there. And I had no less than 2 tons, 4,000 pounds of material of cutoffs. Pieces of pipe, shafting, everything that it takes to make stuff with stuff. And tooling. And these machines take a lot of tooling.
Yeah, you got everything that you might ever possibly need.
Yeah.
It was up until when we started working with the Boy Scouts, then of course the area became premium for bunk space. So we took that, I actually sold it to a boatyard. It didn't have a machine shop. So we built a machine
Sold
shop
that
for
and then
them.
bunked this out. But
Okay.
really, the whole concept of this boat and the size of this boat was this room. You can change its function.
Yeah.
So if we wanted to haul cargo, we
Yeah.
take the bunks out, we could do that. We want to become a machine shop again, you can put that in.
Yeah.
I mean, you could make it 2 more bedrooms if you wanted,
Right.
you know? It's a changeable room, and that was
Right.
really what
Change
this
your
boat,
occupation.
this
Important.
boat was
Yeah.
built around that idea. with
How
this
many
room.
kids did you sleep in here when it was for the chartering?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
minimum 10.
the Boy Scouts sleep on deck, but if it's raining, everybody runs down below, and then
12
they
in here, not counting the
and they're
floor.
all over the floor.
Oh yeah. We got air conditioner for when I pack the kids in like that. I start the air conditioner.
Yeah.
So we do keep it to where it's not
Wow.
ridiculously hot.
Yeah.
And this is what you were telling us from up top, but this whole thing here,
Correct.
Yes.
This
Pops
whole
off.
thing, yep, that whole thing comes
We'll
off.
lift it with a halyard line.
Yeah, a halyard comes to the little hole there and then goes around it and ties to there so it stays flush on the top. And then the
Whole
big
thing
winch you
just
saw,
our anchor windlass.
with my thumb, we move it.
Well,
You
the
literally
little, that's
use
a
it.
little switch.
Just-
It's
she
really
just
hard.
Picks it
I
up.
have to go backwards or forwards.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. We got it. Pretty much heavy stuff when we move it. It's just a thumb operation. I mean, really, it is.
Yeah, that's
We bring the dinghy up on deck
Mm.
with our thumb.
Yeah,
That's great.
So
that's.
I just want to highlight one thing that he said is that he supplied a boatyard with a machine shop out of this boat. Is that cool or what?
And then our cabins.
and then these are the tops of the trees. Notice how the knots are kind of small. That's the top. That's where it gets to the top. Now, real boat builders don't like what they call spike knots. I'll have to show you what that is in a minute.
okay.
But this is it. And every cabin's got its own opening for light and for air. And
And a Durone like locker.
yep.
And all our lockers are lined in cedar wood. That actually Rosa comes into the picture again because she had a bunch of cedar on her property. She gave us all our cedar trees.
Yep.
So every single storage space, like all the storage underneath all the bunks, they're all lined in cedar.
Yeah.
Well, I
You
don't
can't
know.
even see it. It's too full.
Yeah, it's full of stuff. But it's all of it is lined in cedar.
Okay.
You know, that fresh smell. So
Well,
good.
it was also that in Bruce. It was
Yeah.
Bruce's property too, and he had a cypress bog. And the way we got to the trees, he says, "Oh, I got lots of trees," but he says, "I walk through the woods all the time, and so I don't want to see any tree that you take down." So what we did was we had to get a big stick with a bed sheet, and we'd holler at him. He'd start walking on his path. "Bruce, can you see me?" And I'd take the bed sheet and I would wave it in front of the tree. And he says, "Can't see you." So we marked that tree. And then we went through and we ended up with like, I don't know, 26 trees or in this boat. And then a friend of mine, he got like 10 trees. So right about 40 cedar trees we cut down for between the two boats.
I was just going to show that you
Yeah.
can see the whole boat is spray foam insulation.
Yeah.
So before anything was built, we had this gentleman that came in. It took him like 3 days.
Donald Green.
Yeah, and so you'll have to tell about the foam and the thickness, but it's a real
basically-
dense.
Yeah, it's basically 3 inches of foam everywhere through the boat. The only place it's anywhere narrow is when you have an upright. Like here, it's only 2 inches from here to there. But everywhere else is 3
everywhere,
inches of foam.
Underneath everything, all along the edges here, everything's spray foam.
We say it
So
is,
it keeps the boat cooler.
Yeah.
It takes a candle to heat it and an ice cube to cool it. So it's like a big ice chest.
Yeah.
And this is the mast. And I was talking about it way in the wind before, but when we bought this, it came in 2 pieces. I had to weld them together. But it also had a big bow in it. It looked like a banana. So I ended up having to straighten it. And that we straightened with, I took a wire and welded a bolt on one end and welded a bolt on the other end on 2 sides. And then I'd look down the wire, and if I could see it going through, and we just kept welding a weld up and used heat shrinkage. And it probably took, maybe 15 or 20 welds. And after 20 welds, half the mast welded, it straightened it out, and it's perfect now.
And then what you did on the inside of the mast.
And then what you do on the inside, you want to remove the air. So what we did, the old mast builders that built them out of metal, they would take and put newspaper in them, and they would take and burn it. And they'd get a fire going on the inside and then weld the mast up. And then after it was welded up, the fire itself burned all the oxygen in. but I took a bottle of nitrogen and put a hole at the very bottom and a hole at the very top, and then we emptied the bottle of nitrogen, big bottle, and we literally pushed the air out so that it's nitrogen filled now. So
It won't
can't
rust.
rust on the
It will
inside.
never
Right. So if
rust.
you've got rust, it'll be on the outside,
It's not-
on the inside. So
And
yeah.
how tall is this mast?
I don't know the length itself, but we made it to where we were a couple feet underneath the bridges on the eastern coast. So they're 65 feet. This is like 62, 63 feet tall.
Yeah.
From the water is how high the mast is.
Yeah.
But when the gap is up, we're almost 70 feet up in the air. But if I have to go underneath the bridge under full sail and it's marginal, then all I gotta do is dip the gaff and we can sail underneath the bridge. So then, and everything is round and soft,
Yeah.
like women should be. Nice and round and soft. Not too round.
Not too squishy.
So, but everything is soft. I like soft things. So,
But I love the hallway, how it just, it's got a nice curve to it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All
Now
timber-
you're
all
allowed to
timber
take
wood.
a sneak picture of this, but don't concentrate on this room because this is my catch-all between, I got 6 projects going, and so everything that's in this locker is out because I don't want to keep hiding it. So, but you can take a real quick.
Okay, that's like
So this is our, this is the guest shower room, and you close this door and there's a curtain so they can shower off. And then this is the head, and you guys know what heads are. I'd like to share with you our toilet. So you had a problem with your head, and I remember I kept thinking, oh, he's a double header, because I saw 2 toilets in there at one time. So, but what we have is, it's a different kind of toilet. It's a great thing. All you gotta do is push a button. It flushes just like a home toilet. And if you have any problem with it, it goes out, but the problems are always on the clean water side. It was like almost impossible to have a problem with it on the dirty water side. And you don't hear it now, but right now there's a pump running, and it recharges it so that when you're ready to flush it again, it's ready to go again. You don't So this room is basically storage, but it's also where take a picture of that at the top there. That's the most important picture. That is the top of the Watermaker. That's what gives us the ability. We've not been on shore or touch a dock for, I don't know, 5 years? It's been at least 5 years since we've touched shore. So, the bottom of the keel is 47 feet long. The whole length of the keel is what gives the boat a lot of strength if you hit something and support it when it's on the ground. And when the keel at the front, it's got like at least 18 feet of 4-foot cut out of it. So what happens at that point is the floors come up inside the boat. The keel actually comes inside. You don't see it outside, but that keel still comes up to support the sole. So it's like immensely strong. I mean, immensely. So
then you said it's
the bottom of the keel plate itself is 1 inch thick, and then supported by 5/16 sides. And then once you get from there, talking about the sizes of the metal, it goes up the 5/16, then it's 1/4 inch bottom, then it's 3/16 is the roll section, and there's 3/16 across the rest of the boat. So
and what's the draft?
6 feet if you're empty, 6 foot
6.5.
6.5 if you're loaded, and
Full of fuel, full of water,
yeah.
full of goods.
Yeah, if we're full, we weigh 74 tons. So.
Are we
that's-
standing on the tankage right now?
You are standing on tankage.
Okay.
You're standing on 1, 2, 3, 4 water tanks here, and there's 4 more there. We carry 1,000 gallons of water. Yeah,
And 700 fuel.
4 tons. There's 4 tons of water and 3 tons of fuel on the boat. And you figure that because it takes 2 tons to make the boat go down 1 inch. Every 4,000 pounds, a little bit less, the boat will sink 1 inch. So every time you add 4,000 pounds, it should go down another inch. So, but 4,000 pounds sounds like a lot, but the kids weigh that much, then they put that much baggage on her, so we're ready 2 feet. And then we put on, between the food for the week, and that's probably another ton because we put in the ice and the full water, and, so it goes up and down.
Yeah.
But the lightest the boat has ever weighed is 63 tons, and I know that from a lift that has a hydraulic. It measures what it takes to make it lift up. So 63 tons is as light as we can make her without getting stupid. I mean, you know. Put the instrument panel here, and the reason for that is it's outside the engine room. It's easy to see what's going on, other than what you have up in the wheelhouse when you're running the main engine. So it's real easy to see everything.
And the impressed current for the
Yeah,
steel.
and she has a lot of. You have zincs on your boat. You have like a zinc around
On the prop shaft.
on the prop shaft. Well, we have steel boats, so most steel boats have them on the hull all over the place. But we have what they call an impressed current system, and I have no zincs at all. It's a little bitty. It measures the potential. It measures how much metal would be leaving the boat, and then it puts that much current back onto the boat, and so it neutralizes it. So we don't use zinc at all. It does use a little bit of current. I mean, it's using like 1/8 of an amp right now. The bottom meter. That one right there.
Whoa.
And this right here, I need that's got to be worked on.
But
A lot of
yeah.
stuff I don't use. I got another meter in the engine room that tells me what's going on. So that's pretty much that. Then this is our cabin that you started, and the nice thing about this is it gives both Linda and I privacy when we have a big group on, but it also gives them privacy because we close the door and then the boat's there. So that's kind of nice. But what we do, we'll come through here. And what this does is it becomes a room. When I open this up, there's a shower room here, shower and tub. And there's another toilet exactly like what was up there. You push a button, bingo, it's done. And when we open both these doors, it becomes a room. You're in a bathroom instead of just a head. So that's kind of nice.
That is really
So-
nice.
Look at that bed.
And we got the wind tent. Heck, that would be a good picture. You can see all the way up the sky there. Let me take this down. You can see.
That's some good breeze.
So it shoots all the way up there. And I was telling you earlier, this is not complete. We stopped working on the wood when we started running with the boys. I spent more time working in machinery and electronics and stuff like that. That's kind of what we use every day.
Just in case any of you missed it, I actually did. Michael reminded me that this is a sitting bathtub right here. And they of course have the hot water, so they're pretty much set. Look at this thing.
We built the tub with the person in it so that we would use the least amount of water to fill the tub up. So I had Linda sit in there and I go up, her back's like this and her legs are up there. So we could use, it's a big tub, but it doesn't use that much water to fill it up. So
That's so cool.
this is the engine room, and unfortunately because of Corona and my health earlier, we've not done any maintenance in like 2 years. So we're a little bit behind, so anybody that knows engine rooms sees it, they're gonna go, man, that's not a very clean engine room. But it is the best I could do for under circumstances. But that's our main engine, and we bought 2 engines out of a fishing boat, and I took both engines apart, and I kept the best parts of each engine. One cam out of this part, right there. And every single piece of metal that moves or is ridden beside is new. So new fuel pump new oil pump I put in there, new pistons, new rings, new liners, and then we did that. I put new valves in, all new valve springs in, so it's like a new engine, but it's inside a block.
What kind of engine?
It's a Perkins 6354, naturally aspirated. Same engine as you guys got. It's Perkins.
No, we have a Volvo. Oh, same,
yeah,
right.
Well, it's
right.
kind of the same.
I'm a little
Okay,
slow.
and it's dry exhaust, so this engine goes to here and then out, and so does the generator. The generator goes through the same system, and it works on Venturi. When one engine's running, it puts the other one under a vacuum. And when this one's running, it puts that one under a vacuum. So you never have exhaust gases come back. You will notice that there's a little darkness in here. And what happened is one of the joint connectors got a split in it. Before I knew it, it put a bunch of soot in the engine room. But that's just something I got to clean up and everything. But this is the 15 kW generator I was talking about. And then beside it, that's our day generator. It's or a night set. It's enough to run the air conditioners. And then electronics. But the steering gear, I want you to see how simple it is. It's just, when it breaks down, you can replace everything. It's not hydraulic. There's nothing hidden. It's all exposed. So chain, pull, and then it goes over a quadrant, which I cannot show you because it's underneath a whole bunch of junk. But it's all real super simple. Most everything that I could do, I went out of my way to work and get things that you could buy at a regular hardware store. I didn't want to have to go to looking for a marine store, because when you're out in the boonies, like I can go literally to the Ochoa, the hardware store here, and find everything I need to fix anything in this engine room. It's that simple.
Brilliant.
So, or the regular, the auto parts store. So that's the way we did that. Filters are easy to see, gauges on everything, and it's just, ready to go to sea after about 3 weeks of work in the engine room. Ready to go.
Do not hesitate to contact Thomas and Linda if you have any interest in chartering Ciganka.